I've spent 25 years in enterprise technology. I've watched companies spend millions on transformation programs that change nothing. Here's the pattern. They modernize the technology. They leave the structure untouched. And then they wonder why performance didn't move. Shared services were supposed to fix this. Centralize the back office. Drive efficiency. Cut costs. It worked for about 15 years. Now, those same shared services are the bottleneck. The AI era doesn't reward centralized control. It rewards speed and adaptive architecture. Most enterprises are still running on a model designed for the last wave of technology. That's the problem we're solving. Picture this. You drop a Lamborghini engine into a Toyota Camry. You close the hood, turn the key, and expect a supercar. What actually happens? The engine roars. The transmission slips. The chassis shakes itself apart. And the brakes, well, they weren't designed for that kind of speed. The engine is brilliant. The rest of the car was never re-engineered to handle it. That's what most enterprises are doing with AI right now. They're upgrading the engine. They're leaving everything else exactly where it was. I've seen this exact pattern for 2 decades. An organization centralizes IT or HR or finance. They build a shared service center, beautiful tech stack, modern tools, executive presentations declaring victory. That's the engine swap. But the business units, untouched. Same processes, same governance, same decision-making structure that made them slow in the first place. So what happens? The service center can process requests in hours, but the business unit takes 6 weeks to submit one. You get speed in the engine, gridlock everywhere else. The agility you were promised, it's buried under bounced tickets and escalation queues. That's not a technology problem. That's an architecture problem. Here's where most organizations stall out. They've modernized the service center. The tech works. The team is fast. And yet, they hit a ceiling around 30, maybe 40% savings. Why? Because they're still optimizing the old model. Labor arbitrage, lean, process cleanup. You can't extract any more efficiency from a structure that wasn't designed for this. The model itself is the constraint. So why does the ceiling exist? 3 reasons. First, running a shared service center like an actual standalone business requires design discipline. Most organizations don't have. It's not a cost center with better tools, it's a different operating model. Second, customer expectations are moving faster than your transformation roadmap. People want real-time answers. What they're getting is an automated email promising a response in 3 to 5 business days. Third, your legacy workflows can't flex. They're rule-based engines built for compliance in 2009, not agility in 2025. And here's the part that should worry you. Deloitte's 2024 Global Shared Services Survey found that more than half of service center leads admit they still operate at a basic transactional level. Half. You have the engine. You're still driving a Camry. So how do you escape this? Evolution. On both sides. Inside the service center. Yes, you need catalog clarity, clean data, automation pipelines. The engine room has to work. But outside, out in the business units, they need to evolve at the exact same time. Crystal clear decision rights, standard intake channels, which means no more hallway asks, no more backdoor emails to your buddy in IT. And they need to think like customers of a service. That means planning ahead. That means no urgent requests dropped on a desk at 4 p.m. on a Friday. If only the engine changes, the whole car still drags. Now for the good news. The race to fix this is already moving. McKinsey's latest State of AI report shows 70% of companies are piloting generative AI in at least one function right now. Not exploring, piloting. Analysts are projecting that shared service centers will evolve from transactional hubs into AI orchestrators within 2 years. 2 years. We're not talking about theory, we're talking about companies re-engineering the chassis while the car is still moving. That shift is everything. We're moving from the rigid factory model, the centralized shared service center, to something I call the AI native operating fabric. Distributed intelligence. The agents live where the data lives. They coordinate through an enterprise control plane. And here's what makes it work. Instead of forcing employees through rigid SOPs like it's 1995, the policy generates the process on demand. The agents interpret the rules, assemble the workflow, execute in context. It's like teaching the car to build its own transmission based on the road ahead. Here's the upside. When you actually rebuild the chassis, when you move from shared services to an AI native fabric, the numbers stop being incremental. Studies are projecting 50 to 70% reductions in operational expense, not from cutting headcount, from eliminating the structure that made the work expensive in the first place. And that's before you count the revenue gains from speed, or the insights you get when the system learns continuously instead of waiting for the next quarterly review. The math doesn't let you stay where you are. Hashtag AI transformation in finance, support, and operations. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Finance teams are running tools that auto-code and post supplier invoices, not flagging them for review, posting them. The human only gets pulled in when something looks genuinely strange. Customer support agents are resolving queries, drafting responses, and updating back-end systems in one move. No handoffs, no ticket bounces. Operations teams are feeding sensor data into models that trigger smart contracts. Self-executing agreements that schedule maintenance and adjust service levels without a single approval chain. Here's the common thread. The process isn't pre-built. It's generated on demand from policy, data, and context. That's not a bolt-on. That's a different species of infrastructure, which brings us to the roadmap, the 4 phases that actually get you there. So how do you actually build this without replaying every mistake from the last 20 years? Let me walk you through a concrete timeline. And here's the part that surprises people. This isn't a 5-year transformation plan to start planning. Minimum viable agents launch fast. Scouting and sandboxing. First, 6 months. Technical foundation, months 3 through 9. Specialized pods, months 6 through 18. After that, you're in the territory of truly self-optimizing infrastructure. Let's break down what has to happen on both sides of the fence. Phase 1, first 6 months. The goal, a targeted, secure win. You launch one AI agent, one pain point, invoice matching, password resets, something annoying enough that people actually want it gone. Inside the engine room, you're building a secure data pipe and running strict privacy checks. But out in the business, here's the uncomfortable part. You have to kill the hallway request, the buddy email, the Slack DM that says, hey, can you route everything through a single intake portal, no exceptions. Because if the data stays informal, the agent has nothing structured to learn from. Phase 2, months 3 through 9. You deploy your control plane, the thing that routes prompts, logs reasoning, and decides which model handles what. The shared services team is standing up API gateways and vector databases so the AI can actually recall company knowledge instead of hallucinating policy from 2012. But here's the part that kills most programs. All that beautiful infrastructure is completely useless if the business units haven't agreed on what a customer actually means in your data model. I've watched teams spend 9 months building the world's most elegant AI pipeline, only to discover finance calls it account holder, support calls it user, and operations calls it service ID. The AI can't learn from chaos. Phase 3, months 6 through 18. You scale. Finance, GPT, Ops, GPT, HR, GPT. The goal is 50% touchless throughput, meaning no human in the loop at all. To get there, shared services is reskilling their people from manual processors into model curators and policy designers. And the business units? They're remapping decision rights and embedding service-level planning into their annual cycles. Not as an add-on, as the foundation. Phase 4, beyond month 18. Self-optimizing infrastructure. The agents are watching KPIs, proposing rule changes, running A/B tests in sandboxes by themselves. Shared services focuses on reinforcement learning, bias testing, and oversight. And the business units replace manual sign-offs with explainable AI audits. The AI shows its work. Humans focus on exceptions and innovation. That's the roadmap. Now let's talk about the human upside and the leadership required to actually get there. Leading this shift, 3 non-negotiables. First, lock your data contracts early. If you don't, every agent invents its own language and you get digital chaos. Second, cultivate explainability. Your culture has to shift from hunting for a human signature on a PDF to auditing algorithmic reasoning. Most organizations aren't remotely ready for that. Third, plan for regulation now. Requirements for data provenance, tracking exactly where your data came from, are coming. So are strict rules on transparency and locality. You can't retrofit compliance after the fact. You bake it into the fabric from day one, or you rebuild the whole system later when the regulators show up. The technology matters, but the real unlock isn't OPEX reduction. When you free people from repetitive chores, invoice matching, ticket routing, password resets, you redeploy judgment, creativity, and client connection. That's the ROI nobody puts in the business case. You're not replacing headcount. You're redirecting your best talent to the work that actually moves the business forward. The spreadsheet shows cost savings. The reality is strategic capacity you didn't have before. Here's what really changed. For decades, shared service centers worked because moving people to the work was cheaper than moving the work to the people. Centralize the humans, control the cost. Generative AI flipped that logic completely. Now, you move intelligence to the data, not the other way around. The agents go where the work lives, no handoffs, no queues, no centralized choke point. That's not an efficiency gain. That's a different philosophy of scale. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. This new logic only works if you upgrade both sides at once. You can drop an AI native engine into the service center. Thrilling, powerful, completely useless if the business units are still running on governance from 2012. Without re-engineering the chassis, your workflows, your decision rights, your intake discipline, you're just a faster car rattling apart in the slow lane. Maturity has to match, or nothing moves. You've seen why the old model stalls. You've seen the roadmap to build AI native infrastructure, and you know what has to change on both sides. So here's the question for you and your executive team. Are you upgrading the engine, or are you re-engineering the whole car? Because one of those strategies works. The other just makes expensive noise. If you want to stay ahead of this shift, follow for more.